Hey Steve, what's up? Nothing much, Jake, just a little upset. I'm tired of spending all this money on software. I wish people could just share software. Why can't everything be free and easy like Wikipedia? Yeah, I know what you mean. Jimmy Wales is a pretty intelligent guy. Hopefully the open source movement eventually gets its way and we can be able to share and change software. The open source movement. What is that? The open source movement is a movement by certain individuals who believe that software should be produced unselfishly, so that you and other people can share and change it. It began in the late 1970s. Tell me more. Well, to really understand what the open source movement was, first you must understand a few terms. Free redistribution means just that. There is no restrictions on copying or selling off software to other people. Source code means that the program must efficiently publicize the means of obtaining the source code. Lastly, derived works means that the program must allow certain works to be distributed under the same terms. This all sounds confusing. Not really. Those factors just allow the open source movement to be easily and readily available to the masses, which is the whole point. Where did it all begin? Well, a man by the name of Richard Stallman really got the ball rolling. Stallman was a big advocate of the idea of sharing software and created what is known as the GNU project as well as creating the Free Software Foundation. His goal was to create a free operating system. How have I never heard of this? I'm not sure. Although the open source movement is rather large, most people haven't. Stallman created what is called the General Public License, which allowed people to share and modify software. Many programs have come out of these projects, such Wikipedia and Mozilla Firefox. No way. I love Mozilla Firefox. My friend Rob Davis told me about it. Me and him both had dozens of computer crashes from Internet Explorer, and as soon as Rob found it he told me. Yeah, Mozilla is one of the open source movement's most popular sites. It was started by Dave Hyatt, Joe Hewitt, and Blake Ross and is run under the Mozilla Corporation. Its first version was launched in 2004. What are some of the good aspects that this movement has had? The open source movement has had a number of impacts. As I have said, the open source code allows a variety of different people to edit and fix problems and errors that have occurred. So basically, since there are more people who can view and edit the information, it helps to make sure the information is more reliable. Exactly. Also, since the open source movement is against software that is proprietary, it results in lower costs. The movement creates software that can offer customizability. None of its products are ever really finished. Wow, yeah, but that is not a bad thing. Eben McGlenn gave a speech about software and community in the early 21st century. He explains the drastic positive impacts that this movement has had and could continue to have if given the opportunity. Like what? Well, for example, he speaks about Microsoft and its inevitable collapse. He speaks about the incredible possibility of being able to distribute all information that every public education system has freely, everywhere and to everyone. This would mean free universal education. Wow. Universal education? How is that possible? If I've learned anything at all, it is possible because these softwares wouldn't be owned by private companies but instead be property of everyone. That is correct, Steve. Okay, one last question. This movement is designed to help educate people. What has been its impact in the world of education so far? I'm glad you asked, Steve. More and more colleges have been using online software to educate their students. This has been saving these institutions and their students the money that they would usually have to pay to privately owned companies. The open source movement has allowed people who yearn for education to save money and learn for free. Ever hear of phrase Google it? You can thank the open source movement for that. Wow, I guess you learn something new every day.